Welcome to this section of the lecture on the Supply Battalion within the Logistics Combat element. We shift our focus to critical supply support operations. Supply operations are essential because they ensure that Marine forces receive the materials, equipment, and resources required to sustain operations in the field. To understand this system clearly, we will begin by examining the mission and organization of the Supply Battalion. The Supply Battalion manages the flow of supplies needed by Marine units during missions. Without an organized system, operations cannot be sustained. The mission focuses on ensuring the MAGTAV receives the supplies required to operate effectively across different operational units. For example, the battalion coordinates the distribution of food, repair parts, medical supplies, and operational equipment. Think of the battalion as the central hub managing distribution from logistics sources to units in the field. The organizational structure shown here highlights the headquarters and the key companies that perform specific supply functions. Each company contributes to the overall system, ensuring that supplies are received, managed, and distributed efficiently. Understanding this organization helps us see how logistics ensure that Marine forces remain supplied and operational throughout their missions. Now that we understand the mission and organization of the Supply Battalion, the next step is to examine the specific tasks performed by this battalion. These tasks explain how the Supply Battalion manages the storage, accounting, distribution, and procurement of supplies required to sustain Marine Corps operations. These first tasks focus on managing supply support and ensuring the MEF has access to the materials required for operations. For example, the Supply Battalion may manage large storage facilities and supply databases that track equipment, repair parts, and operational materials. This process allows the Supply Battalion to control the flow of supplies from storage locations to operational units. These tasks focus on managing specific types of supplies, including food, fuel, and ammunition. For example, subsistence support ensures that Marines receive food supplies during extended operations, while fuel distribution ensures that vehicles and equipment remain operational. Each class of supply is managed through organized storage, accounting, and distribution systems. These tasks focus on ensuring that supplies are properly prepared, distributed, and maintained before reaching operational units. For example, packing and preservation services help ensure that supplies remain protected during storage and transportation. The Supply Battalion performs 12 essential tasks that ensure the Marine Expeditionary Force receives the supplies required to sustain operations within the MAGTAV. To understand how supplies are organized within Marine Corps logistics operations, we must first understand the 10 classes of supply. These classes categorize supplies so that logistics units can store, track, and distribute materials efficiently during operations. The first 5 classes include supplies that support daily operations and combat activities. For example, subsistence supplies include food and rations, while petroleum supplies include fuel and lubricants used by vehicles and equipment. These categories help logistics units determine how supplies should be stored, transported, and distributed during operations. These remaining classes include specialized supplies that support equipment maintenance, medical support, and operational programs. For example, medical and dental materials support healthcare operations, while repair parts help maintenance personnel keep equipment operational. By organizing supplies into these 10 classes, Marine Corps logistics units can manage resources efficiently and ensure that operational units receive the materials they need to sustain missions within the MAGTAV. The 10 classes of supply provide a structured system that helps the Marine Corps organize, manage, and distribute supplies efficiently during operations. Now that we understand the classes of supply, the next concept to examine is the 6 functions of supply. These functions describe the main activities involved in managing supplies within the Marine Corps logistics system. These 6 functions represent the core processes used to manage supplies within the logistics system. Each function helps ensure that supplies are planned, acquired, stored, and distributed effectively to support Marine operations. You can think of the supply system as a cycle. Supplies are first identified as requirements, then procured, stored, and eventually distributed to operational units. When supplies are no longer usable, they may be disposed of or salvaged for reuse. Requirements determination involves identifying the supplies that will be needed for operations. For example, planners may estimate how much food, fuel, ammunition, or repair parts will be required for a mission. Once requirements are determined, supplies are procured and delivered through the logistics system. They are stored until needed, then distributed to operational units. If equipment or materials are no longer useful, they may be disposed of or salvaged, so usable parts can be recovered. The 6 functions of supply ensure that supplies are 1. Identified, 2. Acquired, 3. Stored, 4. Distributed, 5. Recovered or disposed. This system helps sustain operations within the MAGTAV. Given that we understand the 6 functions of supply, we will begin examining the companies that make up the Supply Battalion. The first company we will discuss is the Headquarters and Service Company of the Supply Battalion, commonly referred to as the H&S Company. The H&S Company supports the Supply Battalion by providing the command, administrative, and operational coordination required for the battalion to function effectively. It also provides general subsistence support, which includes managing food supply support for the Marine Expeditionary Force. For example, this company may coordinate the distribution and management of rations required to support Marines during operations. Through these functions, the H&S Company ensures that supply operations across the battalion are organized and properly coordinated. The structure of the H&S Company allows it to plan and coordinate the battalion's command support activities. It also allows the company to organize detachments that can support specific logistics missions conducted by the battalion during operations. For example, detachments may be assigned to support different operational areas or units within the MAGTAV. This structure allows the Supply Battalion to adapt its support to different operational requirements and missions. Supply Battalion H&S Company provides command and control support, administrative coordination, and subsistence supply support, enabling the Supply Battalion to support MAGTAV operations effectively. Next, we will examine another important company within the Supply Battalion, the Ammunition Company. This company focuses specifically on providing ammunition supply support to Marine forces during operations. Class V supplies refer to ammunition and explosive materials used during military operations. The Ammunition Company ensures that these materials are properly managed, stored, and distributed to Marine units when required. For example, during an operation, Marine units may require ammunition resupply to sustain combat activities. The Ammunition Company manages the supply system that delivers these materials safely and efficiently. This system ensures that ammunition moves from storage locations to the units that require it during operations. The structure of the Ammunition Company allows it to plan and coordinate ammunition supply operations. It also allows the company to organize detachments that can support different missions conducted by the Supply Battalion. For example, detachments may be assigned to support specific operational areas or smaller MAGTAV units that require ammunition supply support. This structure allows the Ammunition Company to adapt its support to different operational requirements across the Marine Expeditionary Force. Supply Battalion Ammunition Company provides Class V ammunition supply support, ensuring that Marine units receive the ammunition required to sustain operations within the MEF and MAGTAV. Next, we will examine another important company within the Supply Battalion, known as the Medical Logistics Company. This company focuses on managing medical supplies and equipment that support healthcare operations within the Marine Expeditionary Force. Class Safe material refers to medical and dental supplies and equipment used to support healthcare operations. The Medical Logistics Company ensures that these medical supplies are available, properly maintained, and distributed to the units that require them. For example, during operations, medical units may require supplies such as medical equipment, treatment materials, or blood products. The Medical Logistics Company manages the system that provides these resources to the MEF. This logistics system ensures that medical supplies move efficiently from storage facilities to the units responsible for medical care during operations. The structure of the Medical Logistics Company allows it to plan and coordinate medical supply support activities across the Marine Expeditionary Force. It also allows the company to organize detachments that can support different missions conducted by the MAGTAV. For example, medical logistics detachments may be assigned to support different operational areas where medical units require supply support. This structure ensures that medical supply support can be organized and delivered effectively wherever Marine forces are operating. Supply Battalion Medical Logistics Company provides general supply support and maintenance support for Class A8 materiel, ensuring that the MEF receives the medical supplies required to sustain healthcare operations within the MAGTAV. Next, we will examine another company within the Supply Battalion, known as the Supply Company. This company focuses on managing the control and coordination of supply operations that sustain Marine forces during missions. The supply company is responsible for managing and controlling supply support operations that sustain Marine forces. This means the company helps ensure that supplies are tracked, managed, and distributed properly across the Marine Expeditionary Force. For example, the supply company may manage systems that track equipment, repair parts, and operational materials needed by units in the field. Through these systems, the supply company helps ensure that supplies are available when operational units require them. The structure of the supply company allows it to organize detachments that can manage supply support operations for different units. These detachments may support various elements of the Marine Expeditionary Force or smaller MAGTF formations depending on operational requirements. For example, supply detachments may be assigned to specific operational areas to manage supply distribution and control for deployed units. This flexible organization allows the supply battalion to adapt its supply management capabilities to different operational missions. Supply Battalion Supply Company provides general supply support and supply management and control, ensuring that the MEF and smaller MAGTF units receive the supplies needed to sustain operations. Next, we will define Authorized Medical Allowance Lists and Authorized Dental Allowance Lists, commonly referred to as AMLs and ADLs. These lists are used in Marine Corps medical logistics to organize the equipment and supplies required to support medical and dental functions during operations. AMLs and ADLs organize medical and dental resources into structured groups of equipment and supplies, making it easier for logistics personnel to prepare medical units for operations. The equipment assemblage contains items that can be reused repeatedly, such as medical equipment used to establish a specific medical capability. For example, equipment needed to establish an operating room may be included in this assemblage. This structure allows medical units to quickly set up essential medical capabilities during operations. Unlike equipment assemblages, the supply assemblage contains consumable materials, which are used during medical treatment. These materials support medical personnel when treating casualties or performing specific medical tasks. These supply modules ensure that medical units have the materials required to provide treatment during operations. For readiness purposes, equipment modules may be stored together with their supply modules, allowing them to be deployed quickly when needed. The items listed in each AMAL or ADL represent the minimum quantities that must be maintained to support operations. Procurement policies and procedures for these lists are outlined in the Marine Corps Order 4400 series, and the Medical Logistics Company is responsible for maintaining and resupplying these materials. AMALs and ADALs organize medical and dental equipment and supplies into structured assemblages, ensuring that medical units can rapidly establish treatment capability and support casualties during MAGTF operations. We will now examine Authorized Medical Allowance List and Authorized Dental Allowance List descriptions, commonly referred to as AML and ADAL nomenclature. These descriptions identify specific medical capability packages, which include the equipment and supplies required to perform particular medical functions in support of Marine Corps operations. Each AML number corresponds to a specific medical capability or operational medical support function. Let us examine the first group of AML descriptions. The first entry shown is AMAL 618, Lab Equipment. This assemblage contains equipment and reusable material required to establish a laboratory capable of hematology, microbiology, urinalysis, specimen collection, and chemistry testing. In practical terms, this allows a deployed medical unit to set up a laboratory capable of conducting diagnostic tests for patients in the field. The next entry is AMAL 609, Lab Supply. This includes consumable supplies used to perform laboratory testing, such as hematology, microbiology, urinalysis, and chemistry testing for up to 100 patients. These supplies support the laboratory equipment by providing the materials necessary to perform medical testing during operations. Next is AMAL 627, X-ray. This assemblage includes equipment, consumable supplies, and reusable material required to establish a single X-ray suite. This capability allows medical personnel to conduct radiographic imaging to diagnose fractures, injuries, or internal conditions during medical treatment operations. The table then lists AMAL 631, Shock Surgical Tower Triage Equipment. This equipment package supports the establishment of a basic shock trauma surgical team or triage capability, which assists in the receipt, resuscitation, sorting, and temporary holding of casualties. This capability is critical in combat environments where casualties must be quickly assessed and stabilized before further treatment or evacuation. Following that is AMAL 632, Shock Surgical Team Triage Supply. These are consumable medical supplies used to support shock surgical operations, specifically to receive, resuscitate, sort, and temporarily hold up to 50 casualties with major wounds. These supplies support the surgical equipment by providing the materials needed to stabilize severely injured personnel. Next is AMAL 633, Acute Care Ward Equipment. This equipment package contains the equipment and reusable materiel required to establish a 10-bed medical ward capable of providing patient care. This capability allows medical facilities to monitor and treat patients who require ongoing medical attention after initial stabilization. The next listing is AMAL 634, Acute Care Ward Supply. These are consumable supplies used to support ward operations, providing ward support for up to 100 bed days of patient care. This includes the supplies necessary to sustain treatment and recovery for hospitalized patients. Next is AMAL 635, Battalion Aid Station Equipment. This assemblage provides the equipment needed to support a battalion aid station, enabling initial resuscitative and stabilizing care for approximately 50 casualties with major wounds before evacuation. Battalion aid stations are often the first organized medical treatment point during combat operations. Following this is AMAL 636, Battalion Aid Station Supply. These are consumable supplies used to support battalion aid station operations, enabling medical personnel to provide resuscitative and stabilizing care for casualties prior to evacuation. These supplies support the equipment used by the aid station. Finally, in this portion of the table is AMAL 637, Preventive Medicine Maneuver. This assemblage contains equipment and reusable material used to establish a preventive medicine section. This section provides technical advice and inspection of food service operations, water sources, waste disposal, sanitation practices, and vector control measures, as well as coordination and control measures required for communicable diseases. This capability helps protect Marines from disease and environmental health hazards during operations. Together, these AMAL descriptions represent medical capability packages that allow Marine medical units to establish laboratories, surgical teams, wards, aid stations, and preventive medicine support during operations. These standardized assemblages ensure that medical units can rapidly deploy with the equipment and supplies required to support Marine forces in the field. We will now continue examining the authorized medical allowance list descriptions used to support medical operations during Marine Corps missions. These AMAL packages define specific medical capabilities that can be deployed to support surgical care, evacuation operations, and preventive medicine activities. Let us look at the next group of AMAL descriptions shown in the table. The first entry shown in this portion of the table is AMAL 638, Preventive Medicine Technician. This entry includes consumable supplies required to support preventive medicine operations for the Marine Expeditionary Force. The supplies are organized in 12 5-day packages totaling 60 days of support. This capability helps medical personnel monitor and maintain health protection measures for Marines operating in the field. Next is AMAL 639, Operating Room Equipment. This assemblage contains equipment and reusable materiel required to support a single operating room. It enables medical personnel to perform major surgical procedures, administer general anesthesia, conduct sterilization, and maintain sterile materials. Following that is AMAL 640, Operating Room Supply. This entry includes consumable supplies required to support operating room procedures. It provides materials necessary to support approximately 25 surgical cases, ensuring the operating room remains functional. Next is AMAL 645, FRSS. This package includes equipment, consumables, and reusable material to care for 18 patients during a 48-hour period. Following this is AMAL 646, FRSS Resupply. This entry provides the resources required to reconstitute the FRSS suite after initial use. The next listing is AMAL 647, ERCS. This package contains protocols for the medical management of 2 critically injured but stabilized patients. These patients may be transported aboard Marine Corps aircraft from elements ashore to units at sea or other medical facilities. Next is AMA 648, CaseEvac. This package provides the equipment and consumables required to conduct en route medical care for 2 stabilized patients. Following that is AMAL 650, Preventive Medicine OEHS. This package provides equipment to conduct industrial hygiene and environmental health assessments. Next is AMAL 651, Preventive Medicine, ENTO. This assemblage provides resources to conduct entomology functions. This helps reduce health risks caused by disease-carrying insects in operational environments. The final entry is AMAL 652, CBIRF. This package supports military and civilian care after a CBRN or high-yield explosive incident. Together, these AMAL packages provide the standardized capabilities required to support surgery, evacuation, and preventive medicine during Marine Corps missions. These standardized packages ensure that Marine medical units can rapidly deploy and sustain medical treatment operations in support of the MAGTAV. We will now examine the final group of AML descriptions, which identify additional medical capability packages used to support specialized medical missions, environmental conditions, and equipment maintenance functions. These AML packages ensure that Marine medical units can respond to special mission environments, casualty treatment requirements, and equipment maintenance needs during operations. The first entry in this section is AMAL 6060, MARSOC. This package provides equipment and consumables required to deliver initial resuscitation and stabilization capability for a MARSOC unit. This allows medical personnel to provide immediate life-saving treatment for Special Operations Forces during missions. Next is AMAL 685, GEO Mission Cold Weather. This entry provides consumable supplies and reusable material designed to support operations in cold weather environments where cold-related injuries are likely to occur. These supplies help medical teams manage conditions such as hypothermia, frostbite, and other cold weather medical concerns. The next entry is AMAL 686, GEO Mission Hot Weather Supplement. This package provides consumable supplies and reusable materiel needed for operations in hot weather environments where heat-related injuries are more likely. These supplies support the treatment and prevention of heat exhaustion, dehydration, and heat stroke. Next is AMAL 687, GEO Mission CBRN Individual. This package includes materials required for an individual to conduct primary decontamination and treatment in a CBRN environment. This capability allows personnel to initiate immediate treatment after exposure to chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear hazards. Following that is AMAL 688, GEO Mission CBRN Unit. This entry provides materials required for a unit to conduct primary and secondary decontamination and treatment in a CBRN environment. This enables medical teams to support multiple personnel affected by hazardous exposure. Next is AMAL 691, Medlog Test Repair Equipment. This package contains equipment and reusable material used to perform testing, calibration, and third and fourth echelon maintenance of medical and dental equipment. This ensures that critical medical equipment remains functional and properly maintained during operations. The next listing is AMAL 692, Medlog Test Repair Supply. This entry provides consumable supplies required to support a medical repair section, enabling testing, calibration, and intermediate maintenance of medical and dental equipment. These supplies support the technical maintenance functions performed by medical logistics personnel. The final entry in this section is AMAL 699, Sick Call. This package includes medical materiel required to provide essential treatment for Marines during routine sick call operations. This AMAL provides supplies to support medical care for approximately 300 deployed Marines for up to 30 days, and it is normally used alongside the Battalion Aid Station AMAL packages. Together, these AMAL descriptions represent specialized medical capability packages designed to support environmental operations, casualty treatment, decontamination, equipment maintenance, and routine medical care for Marine forces. These standardized packages ensure that Marine medical units can rapidly deploy the correct equipment and supplies needed to sustain medical support during MAGTAV operations. We will now look at the final portion of the AMAL and ADAL description table. This includes an authorized dental allowance list package, as well as the legend explaining abbreviations used throughout the table. The entry shown here is ADAL 6062, Field Dental Operatory. This package includes equipment and reusable material required to establish a field dental clinic. It also includes consumable supplies needed to provide emergency, diagnostic, preventive, and maintenance dental support for approximately 400 patients. This capability allows Marine dental personnel to establish temporary dental treatment facilities during deployments or operational missions. Below the ADAL entry is the legend, which explains several abbreviations used throughout the AMAL and ADAL tables. The first abbreviation is CONUS, which stands for Continental United States. This term refers to operations or locations within the mainland United States. Next is ento, which refers to entomology. Entomology relates to the study and control of insects, particularly those that may spread disease in operational environments. The next abbreviation is GEO, meaning Geologic or Geographic Mission Conditions. This refers to special operational environments, such as extreme weather or terrain conditions, where specialized medical support may be required. Next is MARSOC, which stands for United States Marine Corps Forces Special Operations Command. This organization conducts special operations missions, and specific AMAL packages exist to support the medical needs of these forces. Another abbreviation listed is MEDLOG, which refers to medical logistics. Medical logistics units are responsible for managing, maintaining, and supplying medical equipment and materials used by Marine medical units. Next is OCONUS, meaning outside the continental United States. This refers to operations outside the mainland. Finally, OEHS stands for Office of Environmental Health Services. This organization focuses on environmental health and safety issues, including sanitation, disease prevention, and environmental risk assessments. This final portion highlights how ADAL packages support dental capabilities, while the legend clarifies terminology used throughout the logistics system. Together, these standardized lists ensure that Marine medical units deploy with the capabilities required to sustain health support during MAGTAV operations. Before moving on to the next section, let us briefly review the key ideas from Section 106. This section focuses on the fundamentals of the supply battalion within the logistics combat element. It explained the mission, organization, functions, and medical supply systems used to sustain Marine Corps operations. The supply battalion plays a critical role in logistics operations by ensuring that supplies and equipment are available to support Marine Air Ground Task Force missions. It provides general supply support and organizes task-organized detachments that sustain operational forces during deployments. The supply battalion performs numerous tasks that ensure operational units receive the supplies and equipment required to sustain military operations. These tasks include managing supply systems, storing materials, distributing equipment, and supporting procurement activities. Another key concept discussed in this section is the 10 classes of supply, which categorize different types of military supplies. These classifications help organize supply management and ensure that each type of material is properly tracked, distributed, and maintained. The supply system operates through 6 major functions, beginning with determining requirements and ending with salvage or disposal. These functions allow logistics personnel to plan, acquire, store, distribute, and manage materials efficiently during operations. The supply battalion is organized into several companies that specialize in different areas of supply support. These include command and administrative support, ammunition supply operations, medical logistics support, and overall supply management. The section also introduced authorized medical allowance lists and authorized dental allowance lists, standardized systems for medical equipment. These packages allow Marine medical units to deploy with the materials required to establish treatment capabilities in operational environments. Each package corresponds to a specific medical capability, allowing personnel to establish laboratories, surgical teams, and aid stations. These systems support preventive medicine services and dental treatment facilities during deployments. In summary, Section 106 highlights how the supply battalion manages the materials and medical supply systems necessary to sustain Marine forces. Understanding these logistics systems is essential because they ensure that Marines have the resources required to maintain operational readiness. These systems allow our forces to maintain their combat effectiveness and accomplish their missions across any environment.